He has put an end to what you called, in their case, a genocide. And I just don't detect that they are appreciative of it. And it's almost like it wasn't really the thing that they were interested in. But we'll see what they say when the hostages come home. Everybody ought to be happy about this. I've been wearing this pin for 2 straight years. I can't wait to take it off Monday night.
I appreciate it, Scott.
I'm glad you do. Talk to your party.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel, where we watch CNN so you don't have to. On Friday on The Arena with Kasie Hunt, Scott Jennings walked into another circus. The CNN panel was in full meltdown mode, trying to spin a Truth Social post into a federal scandal, crying selective prosecution over Letitia James' indictment. In a second clip, previously thought to not be possible, things get even dumber. The panel tries to dunk on Trump for not winning the Nobel Peace Prize, and Scott Jennings calmly reminds them why Trump's foreign policy record speaks for itself. Anyway, let's watch Scott Jennings shut down the noise and expose how desperate CNN has become. Let's go.
Push back against those institutions and that kind of enemies list and going one by one on that, at least seemingly a core feature of this second administration, and much different than the first time around.
Yeah, so Scott Jennings, do you buy that it was supposed to be a DM? To be clear, I'm not questioning our reporting. Our reporting is that the White House, this apparently was supposed to have been a direct message and not a public posting. It seems like the White House would have an interest in saying, actually, this wasn't supposed to be public if they want these prosecutions to succeed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the things he said in the message are the same things he says publicly. So, I mean, it's not like he's ever really, shied away from telling us what he thinks about these people who've been going after him inappropriately for all these years. I think the only question we ought to be asking today is she guilty? I mean, a grand jury found enough evidence to bring charges. And, it looks like there's something there. And so whether she's been a political opponent of Donald Trump or whether Donald Trump has been a political opponent of hers, or whether they've sniped at each other in the press, I just wonder, is she guilty? Because if she's guilty, it's a serious thing. Mortgage fraud is a serious thing. Making false statements is a serious thing, particularly when you hold high office the way she does in New York.
Yeah, I will say, Jamal, after. So here are some people that are under investigation right now. John Bolton, John Brennan, Lisa Cook, of course, Federal Reserve, Chris Krebs, Adam Schiff, Jack Smith, Miles Taylor. The public calls to investigate Reid Hoffman, Mark Milley, George Soros, Fani Willis, Chris Wray. This is quite an array of people. Scott Jennings, one person we've heard about is John Bolton, although it sounds like that investigation may have begun under the Biden administration.
Yeah, that started under Biden. And from what I read in the newspaper, they did find classified material, according to the reporting, in his house. And so I don't know if you can put that one on the list exactly. Fani Willis has got, we could spend a whole hour discussing the ethical problems of Fani Willis. I mean, some of these people have real problems. And so to call them all vendettas, I'm not sure is accurate. But look, my view is there is a process here. In the case of Letitia James, in the case of Comey, really in the case of anybody, you wind up getting charged through a grand jury system. The grand jury looks at these things. They decide whether you should go to trial. Then you get your day in court. And that's what happened to Donald Trump here in New York. He got put through a process, and as Alyssa pointed out, the one that she pursued against him, the big judgment was vacated. So it looked like it was massive overreach in that particular case. At some juncture, we do have to have some trust in the process. These are ordinary citizens. These are our peers. These are just average Americans who get called into grand juries and juries to sort out what's right and wrong. And I still have some belief that system has integrity.
I like that. So, sure, I'd like to have some trust. That means
look at the mayor of
having
New
the
York,
president,
Eric Adams, who's not going to be the mayor anymore.
Had it pulled away. And Joe Biden, let's remember, he left a prosecutor investigating his son while he was in office, and he had a Democrat. Hold on one second. And he had a Democratic senator investigated who now is in jail. So I think we've.
You saying Joe Biden did it personally?
I'm saying the Justice Department did it, and Joe Biden did not interfere.
So you're saying the White House does have personal interest in prosecutions?
I'm saying the president did not interfere in the Justice Department.
Right. If we just want to get you there. I just want to get you there.
As a standard, I think we'd all be much better off.
He did pardon his son
for the record.
On behalf of my former colleague.
Sure.
I just find this segment crazy. Like I alluded to in the intro, they're treating what amounts to a Truth Social typo like it's Watergate. Trump apparently meant to send a private message to Pam Bondi about holding people accountable, and it went public. That's it. That's the big scoop here. And there's not much to it, but I guess that's a story to be reported on. But instead of moving on, CNN used that nothing burger as a launch pad to rehash the exact same conversation we've now heard for 3 straight days. Trump wants to go after his political opponents. Yes, we know. He's been saying that for years, very openly. This isn't some deep state whistleblower moment where a secret leaked out. It's just Donald Trump being Donald Trump. What's even more absurd is how CNN keeps trying to push this selective prosecution narrative, like the only people allowed to use the justice system are Democrats. Meanwhile, Letitia James has been indicted. That's not speculation anymore. The case is happening. And look, considering CNN's covered this for 3 straight nights, said the same thing every time. If she's guilty, she deserves to be punished. If there's not enough evidence, she shouldn't be. It's that simple. Nothing anyone says on CNN changes the fact that this is now in the court's hands. But somehow they've managed to fill 3 full days of airtime talking in circles about it. What more do you need to see that demonstrates how desperate they are for anti-Trump material? They're covering a public post that says nothing new and it becomes a 3-day scandal on CNN. Regular Americans don't care about this selective prosecution talking point. I think most people, if they're honest with themselves, would understand completely why Trump would want accountability for people like Letitia James, Adam Schiff, Bolton, James Comey. All these folks who spent years trying to take him down. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's simple. She's either guilty or she's not. The rest of this is just noise. Back to it.
Troops on the streets. You've got pastors being pepper sprayed by ICE agents. You've got all this disarray happening at home. And it's so hard for people who want to root for American success to root for Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is doing both of these things at the same time.
I agree with everything you just said. It is hard for Democrats to root for America's success because they're so broken by Donald Trump. This is the core problem of the Democratic Party. You cannot bring yourself to root for America because Donald Trump is the president.
That's not fair, Scott.
He deserves,
That's not what I said. I said precisely the opposite.
He deserves the Nobel Prize. He deserved it before this deal. He deserves it now. He deserved it for hitting Iran. He deserves it for the 8 other peace agreements that he's negotiated. He deserved it for the Abraham Accords. If they don't give it to him next year, it will be a travesty. I would note that the lady who got it this year, who, by the way, deserves it, she dedicated her award to Donald Trump and was thanking Donald Trump and the American people for their support in getting rid of the Venezuelan regime. And so I hope he does get it, because at the end of the day, it will piss off all the right people. And I would be so happy. I would be so happy.
I think that this ceasefire deal, if it holds, is so historically and diplomatically significant that I would separate it from the other things. I support the Abraham Accords. That was a tremendous accomplishment. But it's a very different thing. I mean, the suffering that we've seen, the way it's torn people apart in this country, all over the world, like, that is a tremendous success. And you've seen people like Ian Bremmer of the Eurasia Group, no supporter of Donald Trump's foreign policy, who says 100%. This looks like an incredibly smart deal. And I think we should all be rooting for its success.
Whether Donald Trump gets the Nobel Prize or not, Democrats should ask themselves why this deal is happening now and not under Biden. 100%.
But remember, Joe Biden did have ceasefires. So the question now is, and he did have hostage releases when he was president. The question now is, will we actually get to a peace deal? And so we know we'll have ceasefire, we know we'll have hostage releases. I think we can all celebrate that. What happens next is yet to be determined.
These people who've been screaming about genocide and free Palestine for the last several months, they have gone awfully quiet. Trump stopped it. He's apparently freed Palestine. He's freed the hostages. We have the makings of a peace deal here. All these people who've been in the streets, Casey, all these months. Awfully quiet.
So if it's quiet in the streets, why are the military being deployed all over America?
No, I'm just asking, where are the people?
There's war and turmoil all over America.
This has been a cause celeb.
You just said that there's quiet in the streets.
No, I'm saying there's quiet among these free Palestine terrorists that have been all.
I try to believe instead over here, basically laughing while the two of you are
I'm just saying, you've had person after person on this network and out in wherever screaming about genocide and so on and so forth. Why are they not celebrating this deal? Where are all those people?
I will say, I hear a lot of kind of pro-Palestinian protesters saying Donald Trump has done what Joe Biden has refused to do. That is an argument that folks on the left are making about the failures of traditional democratic establishment. Now, you may not care about those folks, but that's 100% an argument that is happening.
Just this week in New York, we had people on the streets of New York saying, we didn't do enough on October the 7th. We got to come back for more. So
I'd be happy, for the record, I'd be happy if this worked. I just want it to work, and I also want the troops to go out of the streets and pastors to stop getting hit with pepper spray and Donald Trump to release the Epstein files.
Well, I mean, and Scott, on the point that you are making and the protesters out in the streets, and to pick up on what Ested said, I mean, a lot of these Palestinian protesters, they were showing up at Democratic events, angry at, I mean, if you look at what played out in Michigan with President Biden, I'm not sure I see this as a strictly, left-right issue the way that there
are people who have made this their whole life's mission for the last 2 years to scream about Israeli genocide, to scream about how this is all Israel's fault, to scream about how the United States shouldn't be supporting Israel. Trump has literally ended it. He has saved the hostages. He has put an end to what you called, in their case, a genocide. And I just don't detect that they are appreciative of it. And it's almost like it wasn't really the thing that they were interested in. But we'll see what they say when the hostages come home. Everybody ought to be happy about this. I've been wearing this pin for 2 straight years. I can't wait to take it off Monday night.
I appreciate it, Scott.
I'm glad you do. Talk to your party.
There's always one in every CNN panel, isn't there? There's always a guy who just has to say something weird to take the air out of the conversation that's just going fine. I guess on this one, it was that loser sitting next to Scott who kept whining about the military in the streets. While the rest of the panel was actually having a semi-reasonable conversation about Trump and the Nobel Peace Prize, even the liberals on the panel seemed to be like distancing themselves from that guy. They're all sitting there naming off Trump's real world peace accomplishments, the Abraham Accords, the North Korea summit, no new wars started, historic progress in the Middle East. And this guy cuts in with Trump's terrorizing people with men in masks in our disgusting crime-ridden blue cities. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? But honestly, I kind of feel for the guy because I could put myself in his shoes. I've been in his shoes a lot of times. Like, have you ever been joking around with friends? Everyone's on a roll, just cracking up, and you think, all right, I've got one that's going to kill. Then you drop that line and hear one faint like, Everyone just looks away out of pity, like your friends won't even make eye contact with you. I've been that guy a lot, so that's this guy in this situation. It's just soul-crushing. You just want someone to jump in and save you. But seriously, Trump will get the Nobel Peace Prize eventually. The global elite can pretend to ignore him all they want, but history won't. You can't erase everything he's done, but I get it. I mean, I get why some Trump supporters are frustrated that he didn't get it this year. They've watched him get mocked, lied about, and attacked nonstop for nearly a decade. So at this point, it's reflex to a lot of Trump supporters. They assume that the system's going to cheat him out of any honor he deserves. And honestly, are they crazy to think that way? But I actually agree that Maria Corina Machado deserved it this year. What she's done in Venezuela, standing up to Maduro's dictatorship through peaceful resistance, it's been incredible. But make no mistake, if Trump's achievements in global diplomacy keep being ignored, then the Nobel Peace Prize loses the very meaning it was created for. What do you guys think? Will Trump eventually get the Nobel Peace Prize? And what did you think about Maria Corina Machado receiving it? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. No announcements other than please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys are wrapping up a good weekend. Thanks for all the support in the recent videos, your comments, your likes, your whatever the other things are. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, always put God first. I'll see you guys.